Hello people, and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time on the channel, a special welcome to you. I ask that you check out the rest of my videos. If you like what you see, give them a thumbs up, leave a comment, but more than anything, I'm asking that you subscribe to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about a link that was sent through to me from the United States of America, which involves a US cop by the name of Gaya and a deceased Saint Lucian by the name of Botham. Apparently I must have been under a rock because I was not aware of this story, and the story has been in the media in the USA since last year. So the story goes like this. Last year, September 6th, which was 2018, Gaya, a police officer of Dallas, Texas, worked over 13.5-hour shift, and she was going home to her apartment. Apparently, her apartment and Botham's apartment is in the same building. She lives on the 3rd floor, he lives on the 4th floor. She lives exactly under him, and according to the apartment plan that was pointed out to me, was that the apartment had an identical apartment plan. So everybody's apartment is laid out pretty much the same. So moving on with the story, Gaya, the 31-year-old police officer, claimed to have mistaken Botham's apartment for her apartment. And according to information that I received, she tried her key, the door opened, and she heard movements in the apartment. After hearing movements in the apartment, she saw a shadowy figure. She asked the person to show their hands. Some movements went on, and the next thing happened is that Gaya shot and killed 25-year-old Botham. It's a sad case. It's a sad case, and the person who sent through the link pretty much asked me if I could put it on my channel while sharing my opinion. So I'm going to share my opinion in it. When it comes to these things, it gets very touchy because in this case, Gaya is white and Botham is black. And Gaya is American and Botham is Saint Lucian. And you know, my channel is all about the Caribbean community. I'm here to defend my Caribbean people. I'm here to stand up for justice. I'm here to be that extra voice for people who are afraid to speak out. However, I believe in truth and justice. So what I mean by that, as much as I'm pro-black, I'm not blinded by the race. I'm taking what my mother taught me. My mother says, speak the truth and speak it forever, cost it what it will. Who done the wrong, hide the wrong, done the wrong thing still. I know most Caribbean people know that saying, but here's the thing. Black, white, I don't get blinded by one race over another. So this is how I feel about the Gaya and Botham case. There is a high possibility that Gaya, the 31-year-old cop, could have been overworked and tired and mistaken Botham's apartment for her apartment. I'm not arguing that. That is a high possibility to have occurred. And I say that only because when I was in my 20s, I live in Philadelphia, and my girlfriend had an apartment at 46 and Chester Avenue. And I can remember clearly one night, even though I was on the same floor, I was actually trying to open the neighbor's door. Fortunately for me, the neighbor was friendly when she came to the door. After hearing the rattling of the key, she saw that it was me, and I said to her, I'm extremely sorry. So I know it's possible, and I wasn't even drunk. I wasn't even tired. So someone who has worked a 13.5-hour shift, being tired, mistaking their neighbor's apartment for their apartment, that is possible. However, it doesn't excuse the fact that a death is a death, and it could have been handled a total different way. I think most of these cops today, they're just trigger happy. So one of the things that stood out with Botham's apartment that was actually a big red flag in the case, I say red flag, and I'm actually referring to something that's red. In front of Botham's apartment, he had this bright red mat. And the thing about the color red is that it stands out so loud. So even if we're falling asleep, red tends to wake us up. So I kind of found it hard that even though she was tired and overworked, that the red carpet didn't jump out to her for her to realize that, hey, this is not your apartment. Okay, let's say she was overtired to the point that she was colorblind. Let's go with that fact. If she was overtired until she was colorblind and she sensed that someone is in her apartment, she needs to see, as a trained police officer, this is in my opinion, as a trained police officer, she needs to see clearly a sign of threat before she go ahead and fires her pistol. And Botham Jean, in this case, who was at home eating ice cream, obviously showed no sign of threat. So this cop was, in my opinion, trigger happy and murdered someone. So as much as I would like to give her the benefit of the doubt that she was tired and overworked, in another scenario, if it wasn't her apartment and she was just responding to a call, if that's the way she would have actually dealt with the call, by shooting upon instinct without actually seeing a sign of threat, she deserved to be found guilty of murder. And that's pretty much how I feel. I understand that with a guilty verdict being reached, a lot of people are celebrating that justice has prevailed, including Botham Jean's mom. I'm 100% behind her. I'm 100% in support of the family. Not because he's black and not only because he's a Caribbean native, but the simple fact that he was murdered. In my view, this police officer was given manslaughter versus murder. In the end, the jury found her guilty for murder and she was sentenced to 10 years, which actually I read somewhere in the Botham's Jean murder. You guys can look it up online. Botham's Jean murder. Look at the Wikipedia. It pretty much says 10 years, but of that 10 year, 5 years is non-parole. So there you go. Okay, finding her guilty of murder is a good thing because in my opinion, it's murder. She's taken the life of an innocent person, a harmless person. But at the same time, I also think 5 years in prison and 5 years on parole is kind of a lenient sentence for someone who have taken another person's life. However, looking at it from the victim's point of view, the parents and the friend of Botham Jean, 10 years, life in prison. I mean, when it comes to sentencing, it depends on the individual because no sentence is going to bring back Botham Jean. And he was such a superstar. He was such an aspiring superstar. This 25, 26-year-old kid was a superstar. He was an accountant with PricewaterhouseCoopers. You could see that he was on his way up to making big things happen. I even saw a clip where he was singing in church. You know, he was a smart dresser, a very handsome kid. To have cut his life so short, there's so much aspect of sadness around it other than the fact that a life is lost. But a life of someone that had such a transparent aspiration even makes the case a more sad one. So my condolences to the family, my condolences to other Saint Lucians, my condolences to the Caribbean community in the United States of America, especially in Dallas, Texas, who have been given their support. Like I said in my last video, injustice anywhere in the world is a threat to justice everywhere in the world. So if this female cop would have gotten off, it would have only compounded the injustice of all those other black lives that were taken in the United States of America. And yet, until today, there's still no justice to a lot of them. So in this case, I could understand why some people were shouting out that Black Lives Matter. But without getting into all of that, let's just say justice prevailed. She was found guilty. She was convicted. And it's pretty much nothing we can actually do in regards to bringing back the life of such an aspiring man. And we just have to find a way to pick up the pieces and move on. You know, again, even though I've just expressed it, let me say it again, condolences to the family and friend of 26-year-old Botham Jean. This vlog was not planned. I kind of got this information at the last minute of my day, and then I thought, let me try my best to squeeze it in before I close up my office. So now that I've covered that, let me do what I've said. Some people had respected my wish on the channel and had actually typed hashtag it's big up. So once you big me up, I'm definitely gonna big you up. So before I go, let me big up two people.
Big up yourself to the maximum. Big up yourself
First person I want to big up is a channel called Light, and the next person I want to big up is Maud Jackson. As usual, guys, thank you for tuning into my channel. Thank you for the constant support. Thank you for your comments. As you guys know on this channel, I accept agreement, disagreement, thumbs up and thumbs down, because at the end of the day, each one teach one. Until next time, people. Peace.